Welcome again to our biodesign course, Strategies for Innovation and Design on Bioengineering. Today we're going to see a topic called need statement development. This relates to one of the topics that we saw in previous showcasts, in which we try to identify clinically relevant situations, perform effective observations, and state a problem, and to know the difference from that and a need. But today we're going to go into much more in-depth explanations on how to develop need statements. Our objectives for this class are four mainly. One is to show you how to translate problems into accurate, appropriate, and solution-independent clinical need statements. To understand the importance of targeting the key factors of a problem in the need statement. Of course, for you to know the importance of considering the risk associated with development of poor need statements, and to recognize the different categories of needs that you are going to see and how these may relate to solution risks and benefits that you're going to see. When developing a need, there is a problem of embedding solutions within a need. This is very common every time that we're starting on thinking on creating effective clinical need statements. What you're going to see is that when after your observations, you are going to gather a lot of problems that you want to translate into need statements. And the problem is that when you first write them down, you're going to see that some of them are going to have embedded solutions on them. So for example, in this slide, we're analyzing two different need statements related to a problem of formation of clots or emboli after certain procedures. And there can be, in this case, for example, two need statements that can be written. And both could look fine at first, but at the end of the day, you're going to see that the second one is way better done. So the one that is not, it says a way to create a stent or a stent that does not create emboli when placed or something like that. And any solution that goes in these terms, there is a need for this device that does not cause this problem, that's a technology push in itself, okay? Every time that you mention that you want to solve a problem by making a device better, you are essentially saying that what you want to solve, what you want to do is to solve that problem with that technology or with an incremental, by creating something slightly different but very related to that device. And that's embedding solutions into a need, okay? A better way, for example, to express this need of preventing clot formation when using stents, it could be a way to prevent the sequelae, for example, of emboli secondary to an intervention procedure. And that's a way better way to express a need, because anywhere in that second need statement expresses what the solution might be. And the good part about this is that by doing this type of need statements, you are not shrinking down your innovation scope. When you're saying what we need is a better stent for doing this, essentially you're reducing all your scope of creativity to a solution that contains a stent, which by definition is shrinking down your scope of creativity. There are needs that supersede other needs or that relate to other needs. And basically what you want to do always when developing need statements, or at least good need statements, is to try to go as deep as possible in the root cause of the problem, okay? You can see that a problem is very similar to a tree. It has leaves, so all the consequences of that problem. It has several branches, so some needs that are very specific to one part of the big problem. Then you have a trunk that could be thought as, as the essential needs that you must solve. But at the end of the day, there are always roots to those trees, and that's the place where you want to focus. Because if you cut down one leaf, it's very likely that another is going to come. And if you cut one branch, okay, you probably are solving a big part of the problem, but the tree is still alive. And if you cut the trunk, the trunk is still there, so it's gonna hinder something. But if you kill, okay, if you attack this tree of problems from the root, then it's more like, if you pull everything out from the roots, it's probably more likely that you're gonna have a space without a single problem. And the most valuable problems to solve are the ones in which the need statement is written in such a way that it's attacking the root problem of that situation, okay? Working on a complex need, it's something interesting in the sense that probably many others are already working in that need, to solve that need. So for example, high blood pressure. Okay, the high blood pressure can express in many different ways, from arteriosclerosis to dizziness or to many other problems. And the thing is that there are many people that are currently working probably on many different aspects of hypertension or high blood pressure. But the thing is that when trying to come up with a solution that attacks the root problem, at the end of the day, you are also attacking the solutions that they are doing, right? So even though you know that you want to attack a problem from the root to cut that tree down, you must know that there are probably many other innovators that are tackling a certain problem from different branches. And sometimes when it is not possible to cut down the tree from the roots because the technology is not there or the research hasn't gone that far, then you might partner with people that is working in the main branches of that problem to cut as much as the tree as possible, to solve as much of the problem as possible, okay? After you create your need statement, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, you can categorize them, okay, in probably 3 main zones of need classification. There are the incremental needs, the mixed needs, and the blue sky needs. And the things that separate them from each other is the relative position between the risk that they have and the current solutions that they have. So for example, sometimes there are needs that require you to create small solutions, small incremental changes to that solution. So for example, a better stand for doing this is a need that probably is in the incremental zone, is in a zone in which the solution, the basic solution can exist already, and basically what you want to do is a more refined design to make it better or more usable, but at the end of the day you are not doing essentially anything groundbreaking or new. You're just creating something better in that same space, okay? There is a zone in which the innovator might try to come up with more radical solutions that go into solving a deeper root cause problem. But the risk associated for the innovator on doing that, the more that you steer away from current solutions, the more risk there is for the innovator to fail. But at the end of the day, there's also an associated potential benefit of disrupting a market or affecting positively even more people when doing that, because you are not working over current paradigms. You are working on new paradigms probably. And if you go into a solution that goes all the way to a blue sky or free area, probably you are going to be in this space in which you want to be in the biodesign process, where competition is less, when there are really not good solutions, and in a space in which you can tackle the real root cause of a problem. And the benefit for that, for the innovator, is that even if it's a space in which the need is expressed fine and there is evidence that there is that need, and there are really not good solutions or good technologies to solve it, then the innovator is more likely to succeed in that space, because it doesn't matter how well your solution is. If it's the only solution, as long as it works, it's going to be well accepted. And there, of course, is an in-between, which is called the mixed zone. And basically what the innovator wants is to place themselves in that blue sky need zone by developing needs that addresses root cause without any technology push, that are going to steer you away to technological developments that nobody else has done, and or problems that nobody has solved. If we go to the next slide, you can see more or less the algorithm that I believe exists in the creation of need statements. Of course, there is this problem that comes from observation, and you have this raw problem, which I'm expressing here as a function of a problem. That goes into a filter that tries to get rid of all the noise that this raw need statement or problem statement has, get rid of everything that is hindering what is the exact root cause or any additional word that is steering the innovator away from what is really important about the need. And these filters can be divided into several categories, and you can create your own filters. But some of the most important things to filter down are, first, technology pushes. So steer away from solutions. If your need statement or your problem statement has any solution embedded on it, filter it down. You don't need it, at least now. Then, of course, try to get rid of all unnecessary words. So the less words there is in the problem statement, the more likely it is gonna convert itself on a need, on a good need statement, and try to put inside your root cause of the problem. So try not to put causes on your problem statement that are really not the root cause of a problem. And when doing that, and after filtering down this raw need statement or problem statement, then what you're going to have is this very pure, very simple need statement, okay? Which is a Zen-like, it's less is more, it's very minimal, it goes to the root cause, it doesn't have any technology push on it, and at the end of the day, it gives you a sense of an eureka moment. A really good need statement always pops from a page, almost. When you read a really good developed need statement, the innovator is going to know exactly what type of things they have to develop to solve the problem. And that's kind of like a validation of how to do good need statements. If it's minimal, if it has a root cause, if it defines the person and the environment in which that situation is happening, and it provides you a sense that it gives you exactly all the information that you know to tackle the problem as it must be solved, then that's the moment in which you know that's a really good need statement. Okay, so try to practice that. Try to grab many problems that you have already saw or that you can find on the internet and try to come up with good need statements for those problems. The more you practice on creating these filters and on creating good need statements from raw need statements or problem statements, the better you are going to become at this practice. So to conclude with this part of the lecture, there are 5 main steps on developing a good need statement, as you can see there. Many of these we have already explored in the course, and basically device on the practice of grabbing a problem statement, filtering it down to make it minimal, to make it effective, to make it almost enlightening for you to start your conceptualization process. And after that, you have to enhance it in a way in which you understand it and in a way that encourages you to create a compelling solution. And for more information about this course, please refer again to our biodesign book from CNews, to the part of need statement formation and analysis. And if you want to know a little bit more about creation of need statements, please go to our practical case in the slides that are attached to this presentation. And we see us again in the next lecture. Thank you.